Hi, I'm Julian, and this is the WLB Podcast.
Today we have with us Ananya, who has been running this art page that everybody's been following. Every other friend that I have who makes bookmarks and all is learning it from her. So that's how I came to know about Ananya, because there's this savvy who draws beautiful bookmarks every other day and puts it up as a status, and I ask her like, where do you learn this? Because she's a developer. So she's like, no, I have this friend and this is the page. And so I'm like, every other person is like ArtbyAnan, ArtbyAnan. This is one thing that keeps coming up in all of our in my common circles. So I definitely had to check this page out and bring you on this podcast to understand. And I think no, it's not just art that she teaches, is also a lot of miniature art that's coming up in your shop. So
Yeah,
that's something really new, and I want to hear a lot more about it and how you began all this. So thank you for joining us today.
yeah.
Um,
Thank you for inviting.
could you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So, my name is Ananya. Newly, my name is Ananya T because I just recently got married. And art was not like it was not supposed to be like a everyday thing for me, but it it has a little backstory to it. So I'm a developer by the day, so as to say, or midnight sometimes, and an artist by the rest of the time and lunch breaks. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Apart from that, I we are moving to a new place very soon, so keeping super busy and designing the whole house is something that I've been occupied with.
So, when you do art, do you always do it for like, are you selling everything that you draw? Is it for selling, or do you decorate your home also with this? Like, what is the way you go about doing this?
So what happened is I started to make art because I used to do all of this artsy stuff when I was in school and I was a little younger and had little extra time in my hands. But for the past 3 4 years, I've been like moving around college. Not even 3 4 years. I think 5 6 years. I've been moving around to college and cities for jobs and internships, etc. So I've not really been having the time and space to make anything. But now that it was a little settled and COVID let us, be at home. So I started out
Mhm.
doing some art, and it was actually never for putting out to the world to buy. But one of my friend, someone from the GDG community itself, they just came out and they're like, "Hey, it's my friend's birthday. Would you make a card for me? I'll do a commission to you." And I was like pretty shocked, like somebody wants something that I made in my hand. So
Mhm.
I was like, okay, sure, like why not? And I that at that point of time, I probably thought that okay, making something like if I do it for my relatives or for myself or for my
Mhm.
partner or for like parents, it's all like it's fun and it feels really nice. And to be able
Mhm.
to provide that to somebody who is willing to send it to their loved ones or probably for themselves itself is a very
Mhm.
unique feeling that I don't get with anything else as of with respect to everything that I have tried my hands on at the till till the age that I am in right now. But yeah,
Mhm.
so that's how this whole thing sort of came together. It's not for selling as per because I have a lot of sketchbooks and I do a lot of bad art that I do not post, um, which we
Mhm.
should actually, since like failures are not appreciated enough. But yeah, so not everything I make is for sale because it's not sellable. Honestly, nobody would buy it. But I do put out as much as I can, and if somebody likes it, they just contact me.
Mhm. So that means besides, so what is it like? Do you do cards only, or I think I saw galaxies and a lot of calendars also. So
Ah,
how do
yes.
you decide like what product to do next, and like how does that come into play?
So the Galaxy calendar was a very weird thing that happened. I did not know art calendars existed at the time when I decided to make the calendar. I was just so
Mhm.
it was I think November or October was my grandparents' anniversary, and I just made a photo calendar for them. Like I did little paintings on the side and photos and like normal calendar with birthdays of all the people in the full family tree.
Mhm.
So
Oh.
that's where I started out, and then I just thought about myself.
Mhm.
Let me make a calendar for myself, wherein I can put like something that I really like, that is galaxies and nebulas and
Mhm.
all those space stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I was watching Big Bang Theory a lot that time, so I think that influenced me a lot. So yeah, so I thought, let's what if we print the whole thing out, and we just got an iPad at that point of time. So I'm like, okay, let's do digital also. So I just
Mhm.
mushed everything together
Nice.
and sort of assembled a calendar, which had two failed attempts, but then the last one came out fine. Also,
Okay.
like it's not product wise, I probably just make artwork, like just for the sake of it, something, some reference I like, or possibly some photo that I've taken like years, like before I could paint this well. Like
Mhm.
I love sunsets, so I just keep taking sunset photos and everything. So I have a
Mhm.
lot of sunset references, floral references. So I just
Mhm.
look at those, maybe get inspired, make something similar or maybe exactly the same, or
Mhm.
probably while watching Pinterest or something, I'll just come up with like an idea. Or sometimes it's
Okay.
something like this happens that like 4 5 things are there, and then I just combine them and make a unique one for myself.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it's not mostly about like a product line that I'm designing or something as that. I probably
Mhm.
look into it as like making some thing art and then think of what to do with it if needed.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Nice. So, basically, when you have these orders being placed, do you reprint it, or do you redraw for everything? Like, how is like I just wanted to understand, like when you said the third
Mhm.
calendar came out great, so then do you give
Mhm.
it for printing to a press nearby, or
Mhm.
do you do everything yourself? Like, do you reprint it again or
So
repaint?
I made it like it was half digital and half traditional art. So the galaxies were made by hand,
Mhm.
but the design and the
Calendar.
calligraphy on that, yeah, on the calendar
Mhm.
was done on Procreate. So I had to
Okay.
assemble it, and it took me a while, like 2 3 tries, because sometimes the DPI was incorrect, sometimes
Mhm.
the ratio was wrong, sometimes the print came
Mhm.
out too dark. And since I was living in another town at the moment than I
Mhm.
am right now. That I did not have access to like going somewhere that was open at the time, and I knew.
Mhm.
Plus, I had like language issues. So I was in Tamil Nadu, but I'm not really that great in Tamil. So
Mhm.
so yeah, so all that logistics was a little hard. So I took to Printo, and yeah, that's the easiest Bangalore thing that
Oh, nice, nice.
that there is. So placed an order and got the copies itself.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Normally, I
Nice.
don't do prints because first of all, I do not know about the logistics as much and the print
Mhm.
quality and everything. Secondly,
Mhm.
I feel like handmade artworks are like much
Much
more
better.
valuable, yeah, than
Correct, correct.
printouts. Yeah.
Nice. So when did you like you mentioned because of it was hard to go out, like did you launch during Corona, or was it there before Corona as well?
No, so like going out as in it was far away and I did not know the places. Like places might
Mhm.
have been open, but because I was in a new town, I did not know much
Mhm.
about the
Mhm.
language and the people and the places. And not everything was on Google Maps in the town. So it was hard for me to sort of navigate. So I didn't go local, else I would have preferred a local sort of printer or a
Mhm.
vendor to go to.
Mhm. So I mean, like how long have you been doing Art by Anand page? How long has it been?
Oh, that's been really recent. It's been, I think, yeah, started in October or September end.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Before that, I used to like. So what happened was around June, July, I
Mhm.
had sort of a medical issue and I had an operation, and
Mhm.
I had to take like a 10 day sort of bed rest or no work or like chill time.
Oh,
So which is
okay.
really hard to get when you're a developer because you're working 12 at night also.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So yeah, so that break sort of inspired me, and I had like a couple of friends like Savi and Neha, and we all just were normally talking one day, and
Mhm.
Neha just decided to start a calligraphy meetup just like two, three
Mhm.
people of us. And
Mhm.
I just
Mhm.
picked up my pen. I'm like, okay, let's try. And I did, and I liked it, and I kept on doing it. So after like 4, 5 days of doing that, I was like, okay, let's do 100-day challenge, but for art,
Mhm.
like I've done
Mhm.
for code when I was younger.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I thought let's do something that is habit building, and sort of started
Nice.
from there. So the
Mhm.
page or posts or putting it on social media was not part of the original plan. It was just like make something every day, feel nice, and then just sit quiet and like go back to work.
Uh-huh.
So so this started like that, and I used to post like on WhatsApp stories or like normal like
Mhm.
vanishable social media. Um,
Mhm.
Post that, I started putting it up on Twitter, and then I realized, wait, well, probably people are following me here for tech content, so that's not a very nice deal for them. So I moved to a separate Instagram account. Just I never used Instagram before that, by the way. So it was
Oh.
it was a tech challenge for me to just get used to its UI and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm new to Instagram too.
Oh, nice. I think that's news. So
Yeah.
I think the way developers think in terms of, streak challenges and 100 days of code, we're very used to doing stuff like that. But
Yes.
do you think, I mean, this is just a question out of the blue, but
Mhm.
what I wanted to know is, do you think that way of thinking helps you be a better artist? Like, does having,
100%. Like being a
yeah?
developer, being an engineer has 100% made me better. Not only just this challenges or streaks, but with discipline
Mhm.
and with also having like a sort of mental attitude of segregating tasks into smaller things. So let's say if I have like a
Mhm.
big order or something, I wouldn't like just be flustered and like kya karu, like what to do. I don't know.
Mhm.
But then I'll just break down the problems. Okay, this is what's supposed to happen. So setting up an Instagram account was the first thing. Setting up another Instamojo shop, setting up
Mhm.
shipment, which I never
Mhm.
imagined that I would have to do, or setting up
Mhm.
payment options on Razorpay and Paytm
Mhm.
and on
Mhm.
PayPal, and putting up an Etsy shop, just trying to set up an Etsy shop and everything. It's all,
Mhm.
I think it's 100%. I would give the credit to being a developer, because sort of
Mhm.
it's made things easier for me to
Mhm.
figure
Mhm.
out.
Nice. So I think that think like a computer scientist book is actually it means
Yes.
it is true. That's nice. So okay, I didn't know you had a shop on Etsy. How did that experience go? Is it all like are there Indians out there or I mean I think Indian people are not very familiar with Pinterest and Etsy and
Pinterest,
stuff
I
that.
think they are like artists are, because I have a lot of artist friends that I've
Uh-huh.
made in the past few months. So
Okay.
Pinterest is pretty common, but
Okay.
Etsy is something that I've found very recently when I was trying to support other small businesses like watercolors, people who make handmake watercolors, handmake other stuff.
Mhm.
So me trying to purchase from them. So I came to know about that Etsy is still a thing, and it exists in India. So
Mhm.
I tried out making an Etsy shop. It's not live with products as of now,
Mhm.
but that was just because I got one Indian. I think he reached out to me from Texas, I think, and he
Mhm.
was like, "I want to buy your painting," and I told him it's whatever X amount, and he said, "Yeah, okay." And I was like, "Okay, but where do you live?" And he told me his address, and I'm like, "Well, the shipping is like 2K," and he's like, "Yeah, that's fine." I'm like, okay, it costs, shipping costs more than my artwork. Are you sure you want it? Because I was astonished at the point that somebody's out there would like want something
Mhm.
that I need. So
Mm.
so the
And that
Etsy
was
shop
why
was
I'd
like
say.
an attempt. Etsy shop was an
Oh.
attempt to sort of get that going for them and for me.
Mhm.
And similarly, like the PayPal and international stuff. But
Mhm.
I haven't had the bandwidth recently to explore more towards that. Probably in like 6 months, you'll see me on Etsy, because after that,
Mhm.
will I have the time to do anything?
Oh, nice, nice. So basically, I think Etsy is giving that platform for us to reach from, be not just pan India, but across the
Yeah,
world, right?
international. Yeah. So for India, I think Instamojo is sort of something like Etsy. I found the user interface sort of
Uh-huh.
like that. So that's
Oh,
why I set up an Instamojo before I set up
oh,
an
okay.
Etsy properly.
Oh, nice, nice. So I really like this thing that, so I every time I come across your page, there'll be some or the other giveaway with in collaboration with other small businesses, and that's something so beautiful. Like I love the fact that it's not just your business that you're looking after, you're actually helping out other businesses as well. That's so great. So what makes you do that, and like how do you find these people, and like can you just tell me what drives all of those giveaways?
Yeah, so this was when I did a giveaway when I reached like around a 1,500 follower count. I just for the
Mhm.
sake because I was seeing this all around, like people are doing giveaways when they reach 10K or something. I'm like, I'm a small account, I can also do a giveaway. So I just made like handmade stuff, and
Mhm.
one of my like just a calendar that I only had one print for, some handmade palettes and some stationery that I collected over the time for the giveaway, assuming that I was assuming pretty before I hit the milestone that I'll hit the milestone someday. So yeah, so I did that, and then after that, some people reached out to me. Okay, before that, on the first giveaway itself, I tend to support small businesses as much as I can, not just because I am one, but because since I've become a part of the Instagram sort of community, I've realized
Mhm.
that there are a lot of small shops or small stores or like people who handmade things. They can't
Mhm.
set up shops, or they won't have the funds or the resources to set up like big shops or like
Mhm.
put everything on Amazon. So therefore
Mhm.
they do this Instagram sort of shop on DM sort of thing,
Correct,
um,
correct.
which is also the mode of communication with me and my clients as such. I decided that if I could reach a certain milestone, and if I could help like other smaller businesses that probably I have experienced, and I would
Mm.
want to share with other people that are part of my sort of circle, it
Mm.
would be great. So that's why that was the first motivation. And after that, there were like a lot of folks that came up to me and they were like, "Hey, would you like to sponsor something handmade?" And I was like, "Okay, somebody wants my stuff as gifts. Okay, this is big news." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So yeah, that's how I started. Even the illustration that you see on the StreamYard is made like.
Yeah.
I contacted an artist who makes
Mhm.
digital portraits, and I really liked her style. Her style. And
Mm.
even though I'm learning portraits myself, I decided to like not risk it and go and support her.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I've gotten I think two of them from two different artists. So this is like not just like small businesses, but
Mhm.
I also try to support other fellow artists that can help me in any way, and I can help them in like the other way around. So
That
yeah,
that's so beautiful. I mean, it's like how you say like yeah, that's a true sportsman. This is like a true artist. I don't know what's the
yeah.
word for that.
There are sort of people out there like artists even who would like
Mhm.
to jump over the other folks or like do things that would harm the other person, but I feel that that's a sort of waste of energy, because you're putting up energy to bring somebody down. Like why bring
Mm.
somebody up with you, so both of you enjoy, like all of you enjoy, so everybody becomes happy. I feel that is one of the reason that is one another thing that I have taken from being a developer and a community person, more
Mm.
than a developer, is like
Mm.
to try to bring and lift each other up than just create competition that is sort of unnecessary, because
Mm.
everybody has their own talents, everybody has their own like good stuff and bad stuff, and
Mhm.
if you're going to compete, it's just going to be a very unhealthy sort of space to live in for everybody. So
Correct,
it's
correct.
like the world is already a pretty bad place. Like it's good to make like small cute little bubbles that we can enjoy.
Yeah. So what about this when you talk about cute little things, when you like there was these miniature shops that you've started, like did you research or do a market survey? Did people ask for it? Like how did you
Uh, okay, so this happened because one day I just saw somebody doing a thumbnail sort of like thumbnail sized like
Art.
some floral
Uh-huh.
art. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, this, it can be done on a really small scale. And I was like, at that point of time, I just ran out of paper, and that was what fueled my miniature art. Because before ordering the next batch, I was like, okay, let's try something new. And I just
Mm-hmm.
like cut pieces into cut paper into smaller pieces, and I just ran with it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had these small frames made from, I think I bought them from a very small business. I don't remember the name. Not
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram, but like locally.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, we can do this. Like we can add those small pages behind those small frames and make miniature art. Like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that started. Um, yeah, that was just lack of paper. That was there was no other reason.
That's amazing. And so, in your shop, you also sell books, and like, did people ask for your paint brushes? Like, how did you know that there was a demand for those kind of calligraphy sketchbooks, or I don't know what you call them specifically, the ones that you can flip, the flip book, uh,
Yeah. So
right?
it's not specifically a flip book. It's like a normal sketchbook. So
Uh-huh.
I after that fiasco of not having papers, I ordered like crazy once the sale started, and I had a lot of really good papers. And I just
Mhm.
I was making a Secret Santa gift for my friend, who's also an
Mhm.
artist. And I just
Mhm.
she said that she wanted something handmade, but also like she would like to try 300 GSM sort of papers, watercolor papers. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
how can I make watercolor papers handmade without destroying them? And I just like cut them up, glued them properly together, made a nice cover on the sketchbook, and just gifted it to them. And she
Oh,
was
you
like,
make those books? Oh,
yeah, 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 yeah. I made those
wow.
books. So,
Oh.
yeah, and that's where I got the idea from. So all of my ideas come from like weird life events. It's not
That's really
mostly. So
nice.
I saw this thing. I read this thing somewhere that people should like research and you should know your market and everything. And I was feeling very imposter syndrome sort of feeling, because I was like, I
Mhm.
just do what I feel like. It's not mostly research. It's mostly like I want to do it, and if you like it, you are, yeah, like welcome to get it from me.
Not at all. So I think there's no need to feel any imposter because there have been massive inventions like, stuff like Fevicol or the sticky
Yes,
note thing. All of these are accidental inventions. And I
yes.
think
Even microwave, I
making,
think, was an accidental invention.
yes, I think
Yeah.
getting people, bringing people joy through small things like this, and especially when they're handmade, I think there's no need to feel bad about it at all. Be it whatever be the source of inspiration. This is so nice.
Yes.
I didn't know this was created by you.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
So it was like a sort of an experiment, and I just tried it out, like the sketchbooks myself, and I liked them. I'm like, okay, they are pretty sturdy, and like we can just like rip off the paper if we don't like it. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a small way of, and I've seen like handmade sketchbooks being really, really expensive because they're like bound and
Uh-huh.
there's other stuff on it, but this was like just a small like pages
Okay.
sticking together and making a nice notebook. So
Mm-hmm.
I was always the sort of person, sort of child that used to cut a lot of things and paste a lot of things and do random crafts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everything's coming together now.
So that it's like you've been researching for all your life for
Yeah,
this.
I'm literally doing the two things that I'm good at.
Mm.
I
So
never,
when
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
no worries. So the only thing I want to ask, like, do you see this scaling up? Do you receive a lot of orders for these sketchbooks?
Uh, not not as such. Matlab, I wouldn't say it's an overwhelming response with respect to getting a lot
The
of
art.
orders, but it's overwhelming with respect to the support that I get, like from
Mm-hmm.
even from family, from friends, from anybody, from fellow artists, from people who want to buy it. All of them have been very positive about everything that I have been doing. So I'm still at the stage where I'm like, am I good or am I not? Am I average? I don't know. The imposter syndrome that the developer in me has, the artist in me has. So that stays. But yeah, I wouldn't say there are a lot of orders, but they're enough to make me happy. So I'm happy with it.
That's great. So, when your when you mentioned your family, were they supportive from the like? Was it like it was October you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Do they help you out with these orders, or are they like, why are you wasting your time doing this?
So sometimes it happens that my husband does say that I'm wasting my time, which I agree. I might be spending a wee little extra time on this at like late nights, and he's like, "Well, let's go and sleep." And I'm like, "But I just want to paint a little bit more." So we have had like very tiny fights over this. But apart from that, he's also been an artist. We actually met in the art room of school and fell in love there. So he is an artist
Oh,
too.
wow.
So he understands the joy that the paintbrush brings to my mind, and we do
Mm.
go on like little paint dates together. So I wouldn't say that he's not supportive. He's just a little annoyed I spent too extra time. Apart from that, I think all my family has been super, super, super supportive, and
Yeah.
I think my mom-in-law is my business partner actually.
Oh,
She
that's
helps
so
me.
sweet.
Yeah, she helps me. She helps me sometimes packaging, sometimes giving me ideas on orders, and just
Mhm.
fun chats.
Wow, that's a very sweet story. That's so nice. Okay, so like when people so do your is your most of your work being promoted via your friends and GDG people and your mom's friends there, or is your promotion like, do you spend a lot of time promoting this on other channels as well? Like, what's
Um,
the
most
promotion?
I, there is no promotion as such. I just put it up on Instagram nowadays. I refrain from putting it up on Twitter because
Mhm.
I thought let's keep that for tech. Though I don't do tech tweets yet, but
Mhm.
but that is my only I think mode of promotion, and I put it sometimes over on Pinterest if it does not take too much time. Apart from
Mhm.
that, I think I have really supportive. As I said, I have really supportive artist friends and friends who shared my work on their sort of stories, and
Mhm.
I do the same for them. So it's like a everyday sort of we feature each other as such to say. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's like I think my primary mode of getting promoted as such. It's mostly just putting it out there and
Mhm.
for anyone who would like to see it, sort of thing.
So, do you take classes as well? Like, I think like, people like when I saw Savvy doing work that's inspired by you, like, do you
Mhm.
take sessions and where you teach how to do those strokes as well?
So we have this. So Savvy is part of that group. So me, Savvy, Neha, and like a few more people, Bhavani, and
Mm.
a few more girls. Mostly, I think tech women or similar. We just came together one day and we're like, okay, let's just do some art. We were all like very like little artists at that point of time.
Mhm.
Apart from Neha, Neha is amazing. And so she was the one who started this sort of small group of us girls, and we were just normally talking about art and just doing stuff. So what we used to do was like meet every weekend on Google Meet in COVID times. So and we just used to share what we know best. So Neha used to share her calligraphy skills. I
Mhm.
tried sharing my watercolor skills. Bhavani tried sharing something else, and Madhura is another person who makes amazing mandalas, and she's also a woman in tech. She's just starting out her career as a ML engineer, I think. Yeah, and she
Mhm.
taught us mandalas. Savvy also taught us like jewelry making and like really interesting stuff. So we all just share our art, not like I won't call it teaching as per, but we just
Mhm.
share our art and just try to help each
Mhm.
other like, grow. Again, I think that's because we're all sort of developers and in the tech field, and we have this community and this
Correct, correct.
Google Meet
Mhm.
Google Meet thing already set up for us, so it was easier for
Mhm.
us to like think along those lines. Apart from that,
Mhm.
I have a collaboration coming up like in a few months where I'll
Mhm.
be teaching a course, like a proper course, which is something again I never imagined like 6 months before this, but but life happens and yeah. So
Congrats,
possibly
man.
would
That's beautiful.
thanks. I don't teach as such because I don't feel I'm like that great. But I do try to put out as much helpful content as there on my either on my stories or on my reels or like some time
Mhm.
lapses sometimes or on my Pinterest. So that's the way that goes out there.
Nice. So I think if you were to look back on your journey, the sisterhood seems like a very crucial part of the
This is
journey.
this is 100% the most crucial part in my journey.
That's beautiful. So, like, what do you think? Are you able to like? Is so? I think I can understand now. What this is a perfect break from the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like, do you see this as the escape, or do you enjoy both? Like, do you enjoy coding
I
and?
enjoy both actually. So I wouldn't be able to like just art. So with
Mhm.
the scaling question again, like another friend of mine asked me, like, what if this blows up? Like, which is
Yeah.
unimaginable at the moment. Like, what if this blows up? What if like you have too many orders and you can't process or you can't do stuff?
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, we'll
Mhm.
see. Like one step at a time, it's fine. Like I didn't know like 3 years ago I'll be a backend engineer. I thought I'll just be like some developer somewhere. I don't know. I didn't even know what I'd do. So I don't know at this point of time what will happen. But
Mhm.
I honestly cannot see me doing just one of the two anymore. Neither do just the tech part anymore or just do the art part anymore. I just need both in my life to, feel the happiness that I do right now. And I feel I'm at the peak of my life. So yeah,
So
I'm
I
enjoying
think
this
there'll
right
be
now.
new surprises and new adventures every quarter. I think that's the way this
Yeah.
is going to go on.
Yeah,
But that's
and I'm constantly learning like new stuff, not like with respect to tech also, but with respect to also things related to art. Like I could not make like one single flower. I think
uh-huh.
4 months back. So
Mhm.
I'm also looking at into like Skillshare. This Skillshare where people come over and
Mhm.
teach
Mhm.
art or
Mhm.
any creative stuff. So that is where I started learning from, and that was also from another artist that I was following on Pinterest for a really long time. So she had
Mhm.
a Skillshare class up, and I just tried that out, and it just happened. I was able to make flowers one random day out of the blue. So I'm just learning the same thing that I said. Life happens, and I have literally no clue what is going to happen next. So I'm just going to
Mhm.
take it like one step at a time and just be happy in the moment rather than just worrying a lot about like what will happen 2 months down the line or 2 years down the line.
Mhm. I think it is like art, like more like of a therapy. Like this is the fourth episode that I'm having where artists are joining me on for the podcast, and I think everybody who's doing some or the other form of art is very sorted mentally. Like I feel every you guys are at a lot of peace than the rest of the world. Like everybody else is like going crazy out there, thinking about what tech to learn next, what
Yeah,
job to crack next, and thinking about bills to pay. Every and artists are like, dude, this is how life is. This is how it should be, and you're supposed to do choose what makes you happy.
absolutely. I am happy when I do art. I am happy when I
Mhm.
code. In the middle, we're all chaos. Yeah, so it is very peaceful when I make an art piece or the process or the time I'm going through it. Uh,
Mhm.
Apart from that, I am chaos too. I mean, I am the sort of person who wants to just like, what's my next job, or what can I learn next rather than my next job, or what skill is there
Mhm.
out in the world that I would like to learn and try to improve on that. That's all there, but like that half an hour or 1 hour of like sort of detached with everything that is there is very peaceful.
Nice, very therapeutic. Like I
Very
think
therapeutic.
it's beautiful. So, like, do you like? I think you've mentioned how your mom-in-law is helping you do this.
Mhm.
Are you trying to like if okay, I don't want to add anything to your worry list, but if you want to add another partner to your company, do you think you would be looking for options or in order to scale? Like, supposing you want to, maybe one of your friends from your sisterhood already
Mhm.
would
Mhm.
you want to like do you think it's a right time to when you want to expand you would offload the work to one another artist as well and do something together or are you already doing that like shipping orders with multiple artists joining together and doing it?
Mm, I haven't thought about that yet. Savvy and me were like brainstorming some stuffs, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing of as this thought. I so like my mom-in-law is like very cute. She just like helps me with stuff and all. She's not a she's not like a full-time uh, like she wouldn't sit all the time with me and like talk to me about it, but she'll be like very helpful and give me ideas and all. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I think I made it too serious. It's just me doing art in a corner of my house
Okay, so
most of
like,
the time. Yeah, I think I'd love to collaborate with somebody if something on that line can ever happen. Like, why not?
Mhm,
Because there's a lot to learn when you're doing an individual project, let's say, and put it up
mhm,
on GitHub, and
mhm,
you just made a personal project to put it in your CV, it's good, right? But if you do it
mhm,
with a friend or somebody you know, and you collaborate and then merge conflicts, you just learn a lot of
mhm.
things. The way they code, the way you solve merges, the way that you
I
have to
love it
come
when
up.
you mention conflict.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things. So I would love to experience that, and also
Mhm,
collaborate with somebody in a way that will help us both learn and both grow.
mhm,
So yeah,
mhm.
I'm absolutely open to that. I think my first
Nice.
collaborator will be my husband, since he's also a developer and an artist. I just need him to
Yeah,
move in time.
that's so beautiful. I mean, you guys have both common interests, like developer and an artist. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys find yourself talking only about work or only about art? Other sessions like that where you want to zone out completely?
No, I don't. So I don't think there's a work-life balance anymore. It's just life for us, which has like work almost all the time and like art most of the times. And he's binge watching something, and I'll just leave my paintbrush and I'll binge watch with him. It's all a very beautiful sort of chaos at the moment that I don't want to give up. So
Right.
I'm okay with not going to office, honestly, because you can just like sit together for 15 minutes and just like,
Mm,
randomly watch something on the internet
mm.
and then go back to work. So it's a very beautiful sort of mush that is there at the moment. But yeah, we don't talk about, I don't think we talk outside. There is no outside work anymore, so I can't say that. But
Mhm.
there's not just work or art that we talk about. There's a lot of other things, politics and weather. We just talk about, mostly we've been since we've been interior designing the whole house almost ourselves. So
Mhm.
that's the major focus. Like, what spoon color to get, what plate to get, what light to get. That's the
Okay.
point of discussion
Oh,
at
it's
the
a
moment.
beautiful journey. Decorating your house and getting to do that all by, it's
Yeah.
just you two, and it's very nice.
Yeah, since we're
Enjoy
both
this so
sort of
much.
creative sort of people, we just decided that we could be able to do it without the help of external designers. And
Hmm.
I don't know what luck I have. My best friend is she's an architect, so, and her mom is an interior designer, so she also helps her with
Oh.
her inputs. So we're like very happy with the process that you're going
Mhm.
through.
So do you seek guidance from your partner? Like, uh, does he also get on board on like this is maybe you should do it this way, or you know this is maybe you should do this order within this time, or is there any kind of pitching in from his side as well?
I think 100% of things in my life are guided with his light of wisdom. I'll say, because
Uh-huh.
he's the one who actually gave me the idea. Like, why don't you sell your stuff? Like, why do you just keep it? I
Oh.
low-key feel that it's because there's too much papers and too much artwork in my house right now, and he just wants to get rid of it. But I think it's also because he knows it makes me happy that when an
Mhm,
order comes in, and he
mhm,
helps me every single order. I'll say I'll pack it and we'll ship it, and we'll go to the post office together, or we'll go to the courier office together, and
mhm.
on the way back get ice cream and everything. So it's a nice little ritual that we do almost every week. So
Nice,
he does
nice.
help me in everything in life, not just code, or not just
Mhm.
profession, or not just art. I'd say he's the he's the biggest reason I'm able to do everything that I am right now.
Wow. I think you should be really happy listening to this podcast.
I think I'm gonna listen to it when I'm not being very grateful and I'm being a mean person. I'll listen to it and I'll be like, no, he's a good person.
So, what about your family? Is there anybody else who started a business like this, or do they also, uh,
Uh,
eh,
yes. So there is one other artist, I'd say.
mhm,
She's my husband's brother's wife. So she's also
mhm,
like um, the female in the family who came.
mhm.
So she's my bhabi. I don't know what to say.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I call it Bharati only. Yeah.
She's my sister-in-law. So yeah, she also does digital artwork and digital caricatures, and she started, I think, a year or two back when I mean, she bought herself a laptop. She taught herself how to use Adobe, I think Illustrator and Photoshop, and
Mm-hmm.
then she started making caricatures all of a sudden of like anybody around,
Uh-huh.
and now she designs wedding cards. So that is
Oh,
really, yeah, that's really inspiring to me.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing you had shared a status on how you put up a cover for different magazines. Was it magazines? Like you
Yes.
design magazine covers. What is it like?
Again,
How did?
this is a full, again, life event that just happened and I did not know could.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my friends, again, developer friends, she reached out to me saying there's this Asian Express, that the a magazine that she's been following for a while,
Uh-huh.
and the people there are looking for some artworks to be featured
Uh-huh.
in the magazine.
Uh-huh.
And she told me to reach out, and I just did. And I'm really bad and horrible at emails, to be honest. I'm just not an email person. I'm more of a
Mm-hmm.
text or possibly a call person, but I'm a very bad email person. And I had to
Mm-hmm.
email them like 5 or 6 images of my favorite art, and I did,
Mm-hmm.
and they loved it so much that they're like, okay, we'll choose this and put this on the cover. I'm like, okay, that's something that I never
Wow.
imagined.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very happy with it. And then one day, the same person who was my point of contact at that point in time, she reached out to me and said that there's a poetry sort of Delhi Wala Poetry Club magazine that is there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a poetry magazine, and they would love to have like a cover commissioned from you. And again, I
Mm-hmm.
was shocked, like, okay. And I read a few poems, and I just let myself feel how I felt, and I just made that. So the first cover was one of
Beautiful.
my old artworks, and the second cover that has like a heart and a galaxy hands and those sort
Mm-hmm.
of
I
fancy
saw
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like all out of my imagination, reading poems about love, and also because I've been I'll say I've been really lucky to have experienced that, so I know how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
So I based it on a concept called kintsugi. It's, I think, a Japanese tradition, or I think Chinese. I'm not really sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tradition where, like, if a china or a ceramic breaks, they
Mm-hmm.
don't throw it off. They seal it with gold, so it becomes stronger, and it looks even more beautiful than the original
Wow.
thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that concept also, I feel, applies
Mm-hmm.
to love. It's like it would break you in a lot of places that you never imagined you would, be open to break.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it also binds together very, very beautifully, and it makes your life, feel even richer than it would have without experiencing love. So yeah, that was
Mm-hmm.
the major idea behind the second cover, and I just tried to put that up on paper.
Beautiful. I think, have you posted this cover on your page? Because I think our
I
listeners should go and check it out. I have seen that image on your status and it's
Yeah, I
beautiful.
put it up on my story as of now. I'll make it cheesy 14 February post.
Oh,
I
great.
was
You should
waiting for like
definitely check
a
it
week.
out. Nice, nice. So anything that you would call a challenge in this entire journey? Anything right from shipping to, or setting up a page to, like, what would be your classified as your biggest challenge in this
Yeah,
journey?
I think shipping is the right thing that you just said.
Really?
I love packing. I love packaging the whole thing. I love
And
putting
shooting
all
videos out of that. I've
and
seen
shooting videos
how
out of it, and
easily do those.
and I put little sachets, a little potpourri with some nice scent on it, and so that when people open it, it's like a nice smell, and it's an experience. I like the packaging videos and packing part. I don't like the shipping part. I I think there are a lot of people who are discouraged when there is a shipping price on top of like buying an artwork or buying a commission piece. Commissioned, I won't say, because commissioned folks are already like pretty cool to talk to. But I think people who have been buying small art supplies from me, I think even the minimum shipping price is like 35-40 bucks through the registered Indian Post. So it's been a thing to convince them ki, "Bhai, it's not in my control," and like I can't really help anything about it at the point. So that's why I set up like Shiprocket and like a couple other things. That is not 100% working out for me since I don't have a printer at the moment. So shipping, I think, is like the hardest part of this whole thing. Also because of COVID, it's very hard and very expensive to ship internationally. So that is sort of like a blocker that I have. Yeah, I think apart from shipping, I think managing my time, I do manage it well, but it's coming to a point that it might lead to a sort of breakdown really soon, because every single day I'm just either doing work or either you know picking up a new skill or trying something new with respect to work, or picking up a new skill with respect to art, or just making art, or just practicing something. And I always have these huge ideas that come into my head that I cannot take up because of the limited bandwidth at the moment. And that is something like that is taking up my. Sometimes I'm up till like 4 a.m. thinking about random things that I could have done, that I could do with ideas that I have. And I just can't get to sleep because of that. So the time management with respect to that, I feel, is a little off, which I learn slowly. That's fine. I give myself time to get okay with like what I am going. But that is another challenging part, because once I've started this creative journey, I've had too many ideas that I can't keep up with. I literally have a notebook with all my ideas up there, so that I bought a planner for this reason, because I couldn't keep the ideas in my head all the time. I need to put it out there. So yeah.
So I think there's this Maya Angelou quote for this. Like I don't know the quote exactly, but paraphrasing it, it would be like the more creative you become, the more, I mean, it just keeps increasing. Like your creativity doesn't end. You just keep getting more and more creative. That's
Yes.
what's happening.
I absolutely agree with that.
That's beautiful. So I wish you all the best, and do not ever think of quitting, because I think you're bringing a lot of joy to the world, bringing
I
right
don't
from.
think I can quit at the moment, because this is making me really happy, and this is like the least that I'll keep on doing with respect to art, at least. So I don't think I would I would ever be able to quit, even if I wanted to.
Definitely. And I think you're doing a great job with the collaborations and supporting other business, focusing and bringing the light to the fact that there are women-led businesses. So wishing you all the best. It was great talking to you. And
It was great. It
uh,
was lovely talking to you. You're really easy to talk to, and you listen so well. I talk too much, so I need somebody who listens
this is
really well.
the podcast is all about you. So definitely, like, I love people who can, and we are both are developers. So all of those
Yes.
jokes are very relatable. So
Yeah.
all the best, man. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you, Julian. Thank you for having me.
I'm Julian Joseph, and this was an episode on the Women Led Businesses podcast. If you had fun here, don't forget to share this episode with a friend. If you didn't have fun, share it with an enemy. And I'll catch you on the next episode of the WLB podcast.